Today's lesson is Chapter 5, Lesson 6, on pages 335 through 340. Our objective is I can add decimals. Vocabulary is place value. Question 1. You need to line up the blank when you add or subtract decimals. Question 2. Add extra blank when you add or subtract.
Line up the decimals when you are adding or subtracting. Line up the decimals when you are adding or subtracting. You will discover when one is neath the other, the answer you get should be correct. So line up the decimals when you add or subtract. Add extra zeros when you are needing equal places. Add extra zeros when you are needing equal places. When they're in order, you can be bolder that the answer you get should be correct. So add extra zeros when you add or subtract. When you are calculating, make sure you're right. If no mistakes you're making, you are very bright. Line up the decimals when you are adding or subtracting. Line up the decimals when you are adding or subtracting. You will discover when one is neath the other, the answer you get should be correct. So line up the decimals when you add or subtract.
Okay, so if you look at it in our book, I am on page 335, and in this word problem, it talks about them measuring 44 and 2/10 milligrams of sodium for chemistry, and then in the second experiment, he used 33 and 1/10 milligram of sodium. So they want to know the total amount of sodium used, so we have to add those up. So first, we need to line up our decimal points. So we just write the number 44 and 2/10. Then we write 33 and 1/10. We line up those decimals perfectly, and we put that decimal already down in our sum. So just bring that decimal down. Then you can add the digits in the same place value. So you can go place value by place value and do 2 plus 1 to get 3, 4 plus 3 to get 7, 4 plus 3 to get 7. So then you'll already know that it's 77 and 3/10 because we have that decimal already put there. On the next page, there's an example of how sometimes you need to annex a zero, so put a zero on the end so that they do line up perfectly. So in this case, we have 19 and 6/10 and 4 and 31/100. So if we're lining those up by the decimal, we would write 19 and 6/10 and 4 and 31/100. But then we wouldn't have anything above that 1, so that's why they just put that 0 on the end. Because as you know in decimals, after the decimal, adding zeros on the end doesn't change the number. Okay, so here are those questions once again. It said both of these in that song and in your book when I just showed you. So answer those in the form, please.